Good day. My name is Oyedele Adewale Olamide, aka Freaky Fresh. I'm here again on the same subject matter, spoken word and African poetry from the Anthology of Thought. The topic for today, or the poem's topic for today, is everything has a reason, or everything has reason. Thinking every time, breathing every time, your smiles every time, your anger every time. It's been triggered by something. Your mind and brain working together brings out an idea. The questions you ask, the school you go to, your creation and your purpose on earth is being triggered by something. The book you read, your type of friends, everything happening to you, everything connected to you, don't just happen. It is being triggered by something. What is that something that triggers? Could it be natural or spiritual? Could it be our innovation? Could it be technology? Could it be our environment? Everything is being triggered by something. What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Love me or hate me, believe me or disbelieve me, all the same and different. It is still original. All what is getting you confused is in the sensation of your cognitive trying to be developed. People are not classmates. The category is what is on your table. Are you at my command? Being a millionaire, being a military person, being spiritual, you don't have to behave rashly. And if you do, it's being triggered by something. Your genetic trait, your race in life is not the speedometer or the kilometer. The journey of life, your destination is being triggered by something. I want to meet the invisible. I want to shake hands with the spirit of trigger. I wish to know the reason for everything. Why is everything having reason? My intention is being triggered by something. Now, I'll move to the analysis of the poetry. Firstly, the background. The poem, Everything Has a Reason, is a philosophical reflection on the interconnectedness of life and the idea that every action, thought, and experience is caused by something. It explores the concept of causality, raising questions about the forces, natural, spiritual, or environmental, that triggers events and shape human experiences. The poet invites readers to ponder the underlying reason behind life's occurrence, highlighting the complexity of human thought, emotions, and behaviors. That is the background of the poem. Now, I move to the theme of the poem. The central theme is causality and interconnectedness. Now, the theme and the background still talks about what? Interconnectedness, because everything happening to human being is being triggered by something. It could be your age, it could be your class, it could be where you are going to, it could be the book you read, it could be the way you speak. It is being triggered by something. Something is connected to that thing that triggers it. Now, emphasizing that nothing happens without a trigger or a reason. Supporting themes include 1. Introspection. The poem encourages self-reflection and understanding of the causes behind one's action and thoughts. Another is what? The search for meaning. The meaning of meaning is being searched for in this poetry. It explores the poet's desire to uncover the deeper reason behind life's events. What is the reason behind this trigger? What really brings this trigger? Another is what? The philosophy of existence. The poem delves into existential questions about purpose, destiny, and unseen forces that shapes life. What is this thing that shapes life? The poet, I am trying to what? Know that unseen force, the spiritual that changes what? Everything through trigger. Unity of experience. It underscores the interconnected nature of actions, emotions, and their consequences. That is, it unites these tripartites together. Hmm? The next is subject matter. The poem examines triggers behind human actions, thoughts, and life's occurrence. It considers the following. That is, things behind these triggers. One, the collaboration of the mind and the brain in generating ideas. That is, there's an actus reus and the mentis rea. The mind and the brain comes together to create an idea. That is trigger. The influence of external forces such as education, relationship, and environment. We have some external forces apart from the brain and the mind, like the education, relationship, and the environment that influences one. Now, the impact of internal forces like genetic, that is the gene of every being, the deoxyribonucleic acid. We have the spiritual from another realm of spirit, where the spiritual leads the soul. We have the personal intention, because everything we do according to law is being triggered by what? The mentus and the actus, which is the mind and the brain. If one does not have brain, whatever he does, he will not be aware of it. But everything comes from the mind, and the mind is connected to the brain. Now, we have the cyclical nature of life and its recurring pattern. Now, we have what we talk about. There's something we call what? Nature of life. Hunger is a nature in life. When somebody is hungry, it can result, or it can cause someone to steal. And this is something that triggers it, which is hunger. So some nature in this aspect could come in that form. Now we have poets yearning to understand the spirit of trigger, the invisible force behind everything. Yes, the type of poetry. Now, this type of poem is philosophical and contemplative, written in free verse. Philosophical. Let me just call it metaphysical. It is spiritual in nature. Now, it is introspective, raising questions and presenting ideas that invite readers to reflect on their own lives and causes behind their experiences. The lack of a rigid structure mirrors the fluid and complex nature of the subject matter. Now, I'll move to the last part, or let me say the second to the last part, which is what? The literary devices used. One, repetition. The phrase, it is being triggered by something, is repeated throughout the poem, reinforce the central idea and creating a rhythmic structure. The rhythmic structure in this poetry is the repetition of it is being triggered by something. Now, another one is a rhetorical question. It's a question like, what is that something that triggers, and could it be nature or spiritual? Engaging the reader emphasizes the poem's contemplating tone, that is comparatively contemplating about which is what influencing or triggering, like is it the nature or is it spiritual, or could it be the environment or something else that is not known to us. Another is what? Imagery. Phrases like what goes around comes around like a hula hoop create vivid mental pictures illustrating a cyclical nature of life, how it goes and comes around, like hula hoop that is used for the waist by children to play. The next is metaphor. Concepts like shaking hands with the spirit of triggers symbolize the poet's quest to understand the unseen causes of life's events. The next is alliteration. The repetition of consonant sound, as in love me or hate me, believe me or disbelieve me, add rhythm and emphasis. There's a rhythmic flow of that meter, of that word, of those words. Now, we have contrast. The poem juxtaposes various triggers, nature and spiritual, internal versus external, to explore the breadth of causality. Philosophical paradox. Lines like, my intention is being triggered by what? Something. Even the writing is being triggered by what? Some, highlighting the infinite loop of cause and what? Effect. Symbolism. Elements like the journey of life and the speedometer represent humans' progress and what? destiny. Now I'm going to talk about the tone of the poem. The tone of the poem is curious. Yes. Anyone who is reading it or the writer has written it in a curiosive way whereby you want to know what is really happening. Curious, reflective, and inquisitive. The poet approaches the subject with a mix of wonder and urgency, expressing a deep desire to understand the forces behind life's events. I would like to conclude with this. Everything Has Reason is a profound exploration of the triggers and causes that shapes human life. Through its use of repetition, rhetorical questions, and imagery, the poem effectively conveys the complexity, interconnectedness of experience. The poet's quest to understand the spirit of triggers resonates universally, inviting readers to reflect on their own experiences and the unseen forces that drive them. It is both philosophical inquiry and call for introspection, making it a thought-provoking piece of writing. Thank you for taking your time to watch this. But at the same time, I want you to comment, tell us about your idea, about the tone, the subject matter, the theme, the background, and the literary devices used. My name is T. Oyedele Adewale Olamide, popularly known as, or also known as, Freaky Fresh. Thank you for listening.